We're going to begin with a look at the bottom of the Premier League. 4 of the bottom 5 are from the Midlands. You've got Villa, they're 16th. Bottom of the table is Forest, Wolves are 19th, Leicester 18th. Out of those 4, you've got 1 new manager, 2 have stayed, and you've got 1 that's going to be joining, obviously, Wolves after the World Cup. 52 games between those 4, 10 wins, a possible 156 points on offer, only 32 won. Out of at first, are you surprised that the group at the bottom are all from the same area of the country? Does that mean anything to you or not?
No, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. But if you're looking at the teams that are down there, I wouldn't have expected Wolves to be there. I wouldn't have expected Leicester to be there. And I wouldn't have expected Aston Villa. Nottingham Forest is an argument because they've just been promoted. A lot of new players. Takes time to settle. Was it 22 new players? It's not that easy to just make them gel. But to be fair to Steve Cooper, other than the hiding that they took at the weekend, he had kind of made them a lot more difficult to beat. So Forest not so much. Wolves, lovely team to watch. Can't score any goals. Brought Diego Costa in, gets himself sent off. That doesn't help their cause. Mm-hmm. Leicester was a big shock because the way that they play and the players that they've got in their squad, the likes of Maddison, Vardy, Harvey Barnes, Yuri Tillemans, Ndidi, Walt Fass, I like him, good player.
We talked about him last week, yeah.
They should not be there. And with the manager, Brendan Rodgers, I'm a big fan of Brendan. They shouldn't be there. But inconsistencies at the start, not being able to bring too many bodies in, that's cost them. And Villa, well, that's just been a kind of disaster from the very get-go.
Unai Emery, it's day 1 of Unai Emery today as well. Out of the teams we've talked about, who do you think is most likely to not go down?
What, if I had to pick one?
Yeah. I mean, there might be 2, there might even be 3, like, you know...
Well, the two that I'm going to say 2 that I'd expect to be nowhere near it come end of the season.
You're going to say Leicester
and Villa.
Not Wolves.
Can't score any goals.
And they've got a goal scorer that keeps...
Out of all of them, I think they've got the highest possession out of all of them. They play the football the right way, keep the ball lovely. But when it comes to that little bit of quality which separates kind of the best from the rest, where you do start to get points, you'd have to say, you look at Wolves haven't got that. You look at Leicester, got Vardy, Patson Daka, Iheanacho, they can all get goals, and Maddison, of course, Harvey Barnes. You look at Villa, Danny Ings, if he gets enough game times, he can score. We've seen Ings score, we've seen Watkins score. Mm-hmm. But Wolves at the minute just haven't got any firepower.
Why? Tom is a Villa fan, he's first up. Hello, Tom, how are you?
How you doing, guys?
We're great, we're very well. How are you today? You all right, you well?
Yeah, just finished work, got drenched and freezing cold all day, so in the van with you guys.
It doesn't help that we've put the clocks back. I'm looking out the window now, it's 4:20 and it's like nearly dark out. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's grim, mate, grim.
Tom,
season so far.
Tom, the new rain starts today.
It does, mate, yeah, very excited, to be honest. He's like Andy Townsend said there, he's got the TV. To leave Villarreal where he was, I mean, not at the heights he has been previous season, but he's still doing okay with them. To want to come over, and I think he's the right manager for us. He's exactly the kind of character that we need. He seems to get the most out of teams in that lower level and push them on. So I think he's spot on. I mean, we made a big error with Gerrard. It just did not work. It was a bit of a vanity project, I think, with Purslow. And yeah, I think we've more than made up for it here.
Tom, what do you want to see him change then? He's coming, he's got big decisions to make. You're obviously coming off the back of a really disappointing result against Newcastle. What do you want to see him do?
I think it's the mentality. We've got a weak mentality. We're all like the week before beating Brentford. It's all right beating a poor Brentford side on the day 4-0, but when you've got to go away to big crowds and big atmospheres and big pressure against a good team, you've got to give it to Newcastle being well coached, good players. Their recruitment's been bang on, much better than ours. So you've got to go away to them grounds and you've got to put up a fight and a performance. And Emery sets up teams to do that. We've all seen it, and that's exactly what Villa need. And if the characters aren't there now, then he will be back to bring them in.
Okay, Tom, wonderful call. Thank you for that. Have a safe journey home. Des is a Leicester fan. Hello, Des.
Hi, good evening, guys. How you doing?
We're excellent. How are you today?
I'm all right. On the way home as well after a long day.
Okay, well, drive safe. The weather looks appalling. What would you like to say, Des?
Right. It's a bit of a bizarre one because it's almost as though the management of Leicester City are gambling on staying in the league. Last year, they ended up spending £100 million on an absolutely fantastic training ground. It really is state of the art. It's incredible. They now just had the planning permission pretty much granted for a stadium extension, which again is going to be a huge amount of money. but then they don't have any money to spend on players. So there's almost like, I can't quite work it out what they're doing. So they're gambling on being in the Premiership,
Right.
but it's the infrastructure they're investing in and not the team.
So what? I mean, I think you brought in one player. Wout Faes was the player you brought in, but I guess the hope that you stay in the Premier League is what gives you the infrastructure, the money to then do the development on the stadium.
Yeah, but then we will end up being the most incredible Championship team with the best facilities.
Oh no, I think you've still got a good enough squad. I think the only problem Leicester may have is that they may have to. It looks like they're going to use Tielemans on a free, but if they're going to go and sell someone like James Maddison, that's going to be 60, 70 plus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Vardy's coming to end. They can raise the money, but I still think they're a good enough side to stay in the Premier League.
So do I. And also, you don't become a bad manager overnight.
I think it's next year maybe the problems start,
Yeah.
but then they might have a little bit of money to spend. So,
Okay. Des, thanks for your call. Let's go to Joe, a Forest fan. Hello, Joe.
Hello, boys. You all right?
Excellent. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Go on then, Joe. How are you feeling as a Forest fan? It's been a topsy-turvy couple of weeks for you, isn't it?
It certainly has. To be honest, I think everyone just goes a little bit over. Everyone gets a little bit overexcited at 1 week's results. We got hammered this week, absolutely. We were showing signs of improvement by beating Liverpool and keeping a clean sheet against Brighton. But yeah, I am, whether it's blind or whatever, I am keeping faith at the minute, to be honest.
There were question marks before Steve Cooper signed that new deal. There were question marks as to whether or not he was going to get one offered and whether or not fans wanted him to get one offered. What was your stance on it?
Absolutely wanted him to get a contract offer, even if it means he's sacked in 6 weeks' time, which is quite likely. I'd rather him get the payoff personally, just for the fact that.
But apart from the financial side of it, did you want him to carry on managing your club?
Yeah, absolutely.
You did.
Yeah, no one better for the job. As good a manager as we'll ever likely to in it, although I fear the gaffers after a big name at some point in the future, but we'll see.
Do you think you'll stay up, Joe?
Yeah, I do at the minute. I don't know why, but I've just got a feeling we will, yeah.
Okay. Joe, thank you for your call. Have a safe journey. I still look at the bottom of the Premier League.
I was doing the exact same thing
I've
just
no
now.
idea. No, I can make a case for everyone staying up. I can make a case for everyone going down.
I mean, Wolves, you just don't expect them to see him there, but they scored 6 goals all year. 6.
Okay, you can make a case for Wolves going down. That needs to change.
I know defensively they're a little bit tighter, but you've only scored 6 goals in 13 games. How are you supposed to stay up on that type of form?
You can't.
You can't. It's impossible.
You need goals.